I am joined by the newest hire here with Taylor Athletics, Aaron Mingo, the new Taylor football head coach, joining me today. Aaron, first off, congratulations on the new position and welcome to Taylor University.
Thanks, Rick, man. I'm so pumped just to have the opportunity to steward this football program. Can't wait to get out to Upland, my family and I, and just are really, really excited to join the community there at Taylor.
You're coming to TU from Dort, where you're the offensive coordinator, offensive line coach. What attracted you to the position here at TU?
Yeah, first and foremost, I would say it aligns with who I am as a follower of Christ. Taylor to me is a school that equips people extremely well to impact God's kingdom. They're devoted to discipleship. And whenever you talk to people about Taylor University, they're talking about the community of believers there. And that's where it starts for me. When I had a chance to talk to players at Taylor about just Taylor University in general, and they were expressing their love for the school, that gets me fired up. It really convinced me that this is the place where we can really build the leading Christian college football program in the country. But ultimately, there's a question that I really began this process with, and it may be a little unique for some, but I started with this: would I send my son to Taylor University? And for me, it's a no question about it. I would be ecstatic if my son was looking at Taylor, and I just have conviction. Taylor's got it going on. It's a phenomenal school, and it attracts phenomenal people.
As I mentioned, Aaron, you were the offensive coordinator, offensive line coach for 5 seasons for the Defenders out there at Dort. Rapid improvement for a program that won either 2 games or less in the first bulk of their history before you and the coaching staff got there. This year, best year in program history, 8-3, a number 15 ranking, and the first appearance in the NAI Football Championship Series. And oh, by the way, you also had the chance to coach 5 All-Americans, including 2 this past season in your time at Dort. How do you try and duplicate that here in Upland, Indiana?
Yeah, no, that's great stuff. Dort is a fantastic place, and man, it's been an incredible experience. There are a lot of parallels between Dort and Taylor that I see. Like I mentioned before, just the intentionality behind the mission to develop disciples and servant leaders for this world, the high academic just prestige that it has, the reputation that it carries. And really where the program was at when we first got to Dort, it was in a spot where it had student athletes that were filling that locker room that were they possessed a tremendous amount of culture, a tremendous amount of character. And they were the type of kids that were just really hungry for to be pushed, hungry to be coached. There was no question about it. As soon as we stepped foot on campus, they were ready for the challenge, and they wanted the program to grow and get better. And I see the same thing for Taylor football. When I've met with these players, when I've talked to people about, tell me a little bit about the players at Taylor, tell me about the guys in the locker room. I've heard the word hungry over and over and over again, that they're ready, they're excited, they're hungry to get better, and they desire to be coached. And so that gets me really, really excited. I told the players when I was on campus, I will not accept the job at Taylor University if I don't believe we can build the leading Christian college football program in the country. And obviously I'm sitting here talking to you today. So it starts with that. I absolutely believe we can get that done at Taylor. I believe we have the things in place necessary and the people around us that support the program necessary to push it to that spot. And so that's where it started. It mattered, or it was really centered around recruiting the right type of guys for us at Dort, guys that would thrive at that university. Well, we're going to take a similar approach here at Taylor. I'm going to recruit Taylor tough men. And what does that mean? It means we're looking for guys that are willing to be challenged. They want to be challenged holistically. They want to be developed and pushed in all aspects of life. I'm looking for guys that aren't necessarily interested in going to a house that's already built, but are more excited about building a house and really establishing a foundation that will just continue to last year after year. I'm looking for guys that want to play in the toughest conference in the country. Make no bones about it, the Mid-States Conference, I believe, is the toughest conference. And I even told people when I was in GPAC, I thought this was the toughest conference in the country. And it gets me fired up. I'm going to look to recruit guys that get fired up about that as well. And I think those things here, you find the right guys, you put them in the locker room, you continuously cultivate that, and you stay true to your purpose. That's how we're going to take this program to the next level.
Let's talk about on the field production. You were mentioning the offensive coordinator. Well, the Dort offense was one of the best, if not the best, in the NAI this past season. Second in rushing and total offense. And the Defenders averaged almost 44 points per game, which was 6th best in the country. So can we expect that to come shortly this fall to Turner Stadium?
Well, I don't know if shortly is the correct expectation, but we're certainly going to aim for that. Our focus is going to be on maximizing the moment, living in the current play, and just find a way to make it better day in and day out. And we'll be committed to that. There's a process to really building, but I do think the starting place for where we're at Taylor is much higher in a lot of regards to where we were at when we first got to Dort. From a talent standpoint, I'm really excited about what we've got to work with. Like I said, just a culture standpoint of a group of guys that are hungry to be coached and want to be challenged and are excited for that. I think we're in a really good starting point. And so hopefully we get there sooner rather than later. But yes, I think we're going to bring an exciting brand of offensive football to Taylor. I think it's a very exciting type of approach to football, the way we play. And I think Saturdays in Upland, Indiana are going to be an exciting thing for all that are there.
Yeah, no pressure for me to try to get 44 a game this fall. No pressure for me or anything. I know it takes time to build these things, so no pressure or anything, okay?
I appreciate that, Rick.
We talked about a lot of similarities between Taylor and Dort. As you start going into these family rooms and meeting with prospective students, guys that you want to become Taylor tough, as you mentioned, become part of your Taylor football program, what type of guys are you going to look for in the future, and what type of men will be developed in their 4 years here as members of the Taylor football program?
Yeah, that's great. Well, really, we're going to start with the question, can they thrive at Taylor University? And what we mean by that is when we talk about what we're doing as a football program, we talk about what our ultimate purpose is. Do they get fired up about that? Are they excited about that? Or are they lukewarm about it? We're looking for those guys that get fired up about the things we're fired up about. And they're fired about what Taylor University has going on. When they step foot on campus and they interact with our students and they step foot in our locker room and they interact with those guys, does something spark inside of them? Is there a light that's flickering on or off? And those are the things that we're going to start with and we're going to really focus on. So finding guys that can thrive at Taylor is first and foremost. And so we'll begin with that. We're going to talk about what we're going to do as far as equipping goes for their life. I have a vision that Taylor football players are going to be the leaders on this campus. It's so pivotal that we are. I think football provides an incredible platform. When you're a part of a small Christian school, people are going to look around. They're going to know who the football players are. And so you're going to have an impact one way or the other. We're going to strive to have an extremely positive impact and really maximize that opportunity to impact the people around us, impact our professors, make classrooms better, and then make just the overall dorm life better as well. And so those are the type of things that we're really going to look to do as far as an equipping standpoint goes. But ultimately, I'm going to share this with parents. Football lasts only a certain amount of time, and it is imperative that we keep that perspective. This thing is about how do we prepare these guys to be successful for the rest of their life and also impactful for all the areas that they may be called into, the jobs they may be called into, the families that they're going to be a part of. How do we build men that are going to have a lasting kingdom impact? That's what's going to separate our program, I think, from other ones. People are going to really, they're going to feel it. They're going to realize it. They're going to see it, we're going to take a transformational approach to everything we do in the football program versus just a transactional approach that's just looking for short-term wins. We're in this for the eternal wins. We're in this with an eternal perspective, understanding that God allowed us to play this great game. He brought you to Taylor University for a reason. He put you in this locker room for a reason. He has something he wants you to become. And it's our job as coaches to pour into these guys. It's our job to cultivate leaders in the program. They're going to hold each other accountable and challenge one another. And it's their job as a campus community to really equip these guys to go on to live lives of significance, live lives where they're going to be impactful, like I said, no matter where they're called to, and also just be able to be excellent in all that they do and really stand out and be salt and light of the earth.
Aaron, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations again, and welcome again to you and your family to Taylor University and the Taylor football program.
Thanks, Rick. Go Trojans.